Ndị be anyị ekeneni m unu. Asị m ka nkụ echiri ya zelu. Dịka o si dị, ihe a bụ Eastern News 24 ka anyị si na-ewetara unu ya bụ nnukwu ozi dị oke mkpa gbasara maka ihe na-eme na obodo anyị nọ n'ime ya ana gbasara maka nnwere onwe nke ndị Igbo na-azọ. Dịka o si dị, asọ ị nụrụ ya mee gịnị ya kọrọ nwanne ya. Anyị wetara unu Biafra News headlines unu ya ege and unu anụkwasịkwa opinion ụmụnne anyị dị iche iche. Mana dịka anyị na-eti elu ya bụ ife unu ga-esi ya ife ụmụnne anyị kwugasị dị iche iche na opinion nke fa. Unu ekwukwe nke unu na comment section below. Tụsakwa ya bụ ozi ka ụmụnne anyị ndị na-ebe dị iche iche na ife na-emenụ. Akwụ na nghọta ka ụmụnne ndị nọ ngalaba ebe dị iche iche n'afọ ka o si ada, n'afọ ka ya bụ eke si anya anwụ. Ọ gwara ka ha m n'ọnụ ụmụnne m. Dịka ị ga-ebife ga-esi dropụla anyị your comment ife iche n'inu akwụkwọ gbasara maka ihe ndị a niile nọ n'inu akwụkwọ n'ụbọchị nketa. Right, over to you.
That Igbos are comfortable. What he's trying to tell you is that Igbos are not aggrieved. Igbos are not have benefited from the Tinubu's government, and so therefore they should not join the protest.
Don't forget that the same Uzodinma in the past have said that Tinubu has solved the Igbos man's problem. That is why they didn't join hunger strike in the past.
That is not the reason. Igbos has continued to distance themselves gradually. The zeal to save Nigeria, the zeal to be part of Nigeria, has already died in the consciousness of all Igbos. So we must understand this, very well, that Hope Uzodinma does not have anything to offer Igbos. It does not represent Igbos. It does not speak to Igbos. We know who speaks for Igbos. So, but for him to come out to say that Igbo should not join any form of protest, that after all, the Igbos are not aggrieved. So I don't understand the angle he's coming from. Because that statement for me, I think it's not weighty. It's not something to write home about. Or on the second thought, maybe he's trying to also let the Nigerian system know that Igbos are still being not comfortable with the way it is is happening in Nigeria, or the way Igbos are not being incorporated in the things of Nigeria, that Igbos are actually marginalized, and Igbos has been distanced around the corridors of resources and power at the end of the day. If that's what Hope Uzodinma meant by that statement, I think I want to see it from that angle, because the media reports things from different perspectives. But from the analysis I had, from what I read about what Hope Uzodinma, the governor of Imo State, said, for me, I wasn't too comfortable from the angle he was coming from. But as somebody who look at it from the broader view, I need to see how different opinions are going to coming into that, and be able to take a position based on what Hope Uzodinma actually said. For me, I don't have any thing to celebrate on Tinubu's administration. Tinubu's administration, we have Southwest has produced 11 ministers, the other regions 11 ministers. Why is it that we are having 5 ministers or thereabout in the eastern part of the country? It shows you to understand now, that this administration is also maltreating Igbos. Look at the level of damage, where Igbo properties were being destroyed under the guise that they were building railroad and all that. A lot of things is actually wrong, and there is more reason why Igbo should be part of this protest if Nigeria actually acknowledge that Igbo is part of this entity. But apart from that, what Hope Uzodinma is trying to tell the whole world, that Igbos are not part of Nigeria and they should not be part of any form of protest. And that takes me to the angle where we are trying to share something about some other people who are looking at that protest, generally the views of Nigerians generally, and what they intend to achieve. Already, the APC-led government has started, looking at it that oppositions might be behind it, and that is why P2B, came into the picture. The Labour Party presidential candidate, P2B, in the last election. Of course, it is being believed that he came third. Okay.
Okay, now, Mr. Chinedu Michael, let me bring in this angle, because was it yesterday or so the national chairman of APC, I'm talking about the former governor of Kano State, Abdullahi Ganduje, said that APC is going to demarginalize the Igbos. And he said they should draw a line between participation in APC, I mean the politics of APC, and marginalization. But generally speaking, it looks as if APC want to give the Igbos their right place in Nigeria.
If you look at what they called nice, the Nigerian trying to be nice to Igbos, that's the picture they are trying to paint. They are trying to be nice, and if you look at what it means to be nice in that context we are talking about, their niceness to Igbos is corruption, is inconveniences, no matter how you look at it. So they pretend at this point to be what they are. They pretend to be nice, but in the real sense of it, they are not nice. If somebody of that nature can come out to let the whole world know that actually, in truth, there was a gang related, there's a gang up, against a continuous marginal, deliberately, not because of it, deliberately done. The marginalization people are experiencing on deliberately, politically and otherwise, is deliberately done. So that's what they are trying to tell you, that they are going to force Igbos to belong to where they don't want to belong, in terms of political party. That is for me a very big slap on the entire Biafrans, and I feel that at this point that prominent Igbo leaders should come out and react to that statement coming from a man who has no history about himself, a man who is seen as being corrupt. I'm talking about the APC national chairman. He has no antecedent, he has no record, he has no integrity, to make that kind of statement. So I think people should begin to understand very well that what the former governor of Kano State is saying, it means that all this while it was a deliberate act by the Nigerian system to marginalize Igbos. What stops people from look at let me give you an insight, on the just concluded presidential election. What stops the North and the West, from supporting a Labour Party? Was he be an APC party? It must not be. So it's not to tell you that now that Igbos want to be cowed, want to be pushed, they want to use divisive and deceitful means, to push them to where they don't want to belong. And let me tell you, like the organizer said to the then headless president, as at that time, talking about Muhammad Buhari, they told him pop and plain, they will not vote for you, irrespective of how you look at it, because he has no democratic track record. This is a man who disrupted the first democratic process in Nigeria through coup, and nothing was done. Nobody labeled it an Igbo coup. Nobody said anything about it, because Igbo man was not involved. So if you Gaduje, I expected by now, some powerful Igbo thinkers, the Imo bees of modern Hanezes, should come out, and begin to, make relevant statement concerning that kind of abuse, word used by Gaduje, to even declare, make it public that actually they know what they are doing, that Igbos are being marginalized. So it was a deliberate act.
Okay, now let us look at the angle B is coming from, saying whether it's Igbos, Yorubas, Hausas, that they are all justified to join the protest, going by what is happening. We are talking about hunger, food inflation, that everybody is affected. We shall equally look at the angle of people saying that Showore is not justified to lead the protest now. But let us look at Obi's angle first, that everybody is justified to join this protest.
Yes, it's one of the very interesting question this morning, because look at, because the Gen Z youths generation, I think one thing, that's one of the reasons why we are always on this platform, are trying to regenerate the consciousness. We are trying to reactivate the consciousness of every black man, of every black youth in Africa. That is the essence of us doing this on daily basis. We are not going to be depending on government propaganda medium like the normal dailies they have there, that does not report anything about how transformation or how people can be able to take their destiny, lost destinies. Like what somebody said, so Nigerians are born with silver spoon, but the spoon is no longer there for them, to enjoy at the end of the day. So the fact is that no matter how you look at it, the Igbos are having deep reservations, and then you know that with that Igbo stepping into anything that has to do with protest, I doubt the sources of that protest. That is one. Two, what happened in 2023 makes Igbos to feel now they shouldn't be part of anything that has to do with protest. So, but Obi coming from the nationalistic classification, or so coming from that angle of nationhood, as the former president, he has every right to say, because of the widespread reservations against APC-led government, the damage they have done so far, there is need for both major tribes in Nigeria to step out, ask for the policy direction by this clueless APC government. So, Obi is right, that is what he's supposed to say. But the generality of it is that, what is Igbo's place in Nigeria currently now? Why is it that often and often, every time and then, the Igbos, the other tribes, does not support Igbo? Igbo sources has always been individualistic. Anything that has to do with the struggle to survive in the eastern part of the country has always been an individual thing. Look at the massive projects, infrastructures that are running both in the north, even ministers sharing of states, and you're asking these people to still come and begin to struggle over the survival of Nigeria. But it looks somehow for me, to be honest, you understand. And I think at this point, we should look at it from broader view, because you can see them, they're already in the eastern part of the country, trying to deceive, and some political elements in the east to join APC that Nigerians are already rejecting. So that's the mentality. That is why Nigeria can continue to find it very difficult to advance to a level where people, the citizens themselves, can actually be proud of what they have as a country.
Well, finally, let us look at the argument that, of course, some school of thought have said it. They're already fronting the narrative that Sowore is not justified to lead protests at this point.
Let me tell you, yes. I mean, for me, I have deep reservations for Omoloye Sowore, having known his antecedents before. I'm judging him based on who he is, before he came to the level where he is now. He has been part of the elements, that is operating today in Nigeria. We saw how they used him against Jonathan's government, and Nigerians can never forget Omoloye Sowore for being part of that propaganda that destroyed one of the best leaders who should have experienced in Nigeria. That is my own reservation against Sowore. And secondly, most of the things he organizes, we don't tend to see the impact of it always. When he came up with the revolution now, we couldn't see anything. We couldn't see any impact. We couldn't see anything indicating that he has been financially pacified. At the end of the day, the government can operate in any disguise, and Sowore is one of the factors we don't want to see in this protest at all. We don't want to see anything that has traces with Sowore. From now, you should just step aside. If you have any moral support you want to give. But we don't want to see him, because at every point Nigerians want to move forward. This kind of revolutionaries, we don't understand what their plans are, will come up and create a shadow presence, and before you know, they disappear.
Is it in Nigeria? Is it in Nigeria?
No, see, it's not a matter of being in Nigeria. If you are in Nigeria now, what is the factor of your level of contribution, given your position, you claim you are?
But once you say revolution now, I think there's a name that comes to mind.
Bros, I said, what is the impact of it? It's just that people are saying Niger Delta militants. What is the impact of the agitation? They dropped it because of financial participation. Government now use funds, to weaken them, or use contracts to weaken them, through the back door. It can happen. Government can actually disguise an entity, an individual, to be part of a system, and you think just to mess it up. At the end of the day, government can infiltrate this protest. You don't know, it can happen. So those things are what we are looking at. giving Sowore's, unsuccessful plan of his own style of getting government, to do one thing or the other for Nigerian government, for Nigerian people.
Mr. Chinedu Michael, I know you can go on and on, but this is a good place to let it go. I must say, baby, thank you for your time. This is Satellite Media and Mr. Matthew. Thank you very much.
ndị be anyị daalụ nenu ụmụ Igbo, anyị sị ka ọ dịrị onye ọbụla na mma ụbọchị nke taa dịka isi na-esoro anyị sị na ọ ya dịrị gị mma na afọ, dịrị gị mma na orie, dịrị gị mma na eke, dịkwazie gị mma na nkwọ. Otu anyị kwuru otu a ka ọ ya dịrịrị ise ise ise. Dịka ị nụrụ ihe Ebuka Obi ọ na-ewoke kwuru gbasịta maka Donald Trump and the impact o wee to the life of Biafrans and the whole world, maka ife a na-azọ kịta bụ anya uche. Ịghọtago unu n'anya na afụ ka o si ada n'oge gara aga, a na-akọzi akọ na nwoke ebidozi wee nụwazie nwoke. Ịghọtago and ịnekwa anya ịfụ na ihe dị mmanụ na-azụkwa abụrụ obere ife, na ọ ka ọ dịrị onye ọbụla na mma, ka ọ dịrị onye ọbụla bụ nwa Chineke na mma. Ọ ya ka ọ na-azọ ka efi nwere ikwu gbasara maka ya bụ ife n'ihi na Ebuka Obi kwuru n'iru akwụkwọ gbasara maka Donald Trump. Drop out your own comment if you chere n'ụdị nke gị ka ya. Thank you for joining us once again at Eastern News 24. Ka emesịa na ụmụnne m.